Oh, Sam, what's wrong?
Oh, Jim, it's awful. So Grace gave me this plasticine for Christmas just to keep me entertained. And it's just not working. I can't shape it, I can't mould it, it's not doing anything.
What, you mean it won't bend and it won't stick
It
together?
won't bend, it won't stick together.
Have you tried warming it up? Like, you know, put it between your hands and do this?
Like this?
Yeah, like that. You need to like warm it up and then it will bend and stick together and you can make anything you like.
That's amazing. Thank you, Jeff.
No problem. Bye.
It's tough to make anything useful out of plasticine when it's hard and brittle. You can't use it to do anything useful when it's like that. It can't be used as it was created to be used. No, instead you need to warm it, to soften it up, so that you can shape and mould it to what you want it to do. In our True Bible story last week, God gave Peter a vision. And Peter saw that the dividing wall between Jew and Gentiles, that's non-Jews, had been broken down. The gospel can go to all people. So, as we heard in today's reading, Peter went to Jerusalem to tell all the Jewish leaders about the great news. We can go and tell the Gentiles the good news about Jesus. How did these Jerusalem believers respond? Well, they criticised Peter and said, "You even ate with these Gentiles." But why did they respond like this? Well, it's because their hearts were hard and brittle, like the plasticine. They were stubborn and couldn't be shaped. They were so used to their old way of life. They couldn't be moulded or moved away from that old way of life. So, Peter told them the story of how God had changed his heart. And as he did this, something amazing happened. God, by his Spirit, was warming and softening the hearts of the Jerusalem believers. And as they were warmed, just like the plasticine, their hearts could be shaped and moulded to have the same desires that God has. These believers were changed from the inside out, from stubbornness and hardness to soft, workable hearts. So much so that later in our passage today, the Jerusalem believers went to help the Gentile believers in Antioch. And this is what God does to us and to all the believers throughout history. Naturally, our hearts are hard and stubborn. We don't want to do what God tells us to do. But as we hear God's word proclaimed, our hearts are warmed and softened by his Spirit, so that our hearts become more and more like God's, so that our desires are more aligned with his desires, and our lives are lived out according to his will.